All right, hey, you know what? You guys have checked out my long version of the new RAV4. Well, guess what? Today we get to test drive them. We're gonna break it down for you guys really fast, and we're gonna hit the road because it's gonna be fun. So we're gonna hit the hybrid first. We're gonna get out there on the road. We're gonna test drive this. We're gonna take it to a beautiful spot. The hybrid, 236 horsepower, but combined, it's got the hybrid tech. Then we're gonna take the GR out, right? So they've gone Gazoo Racing and they've taken their engineering and DNA from the racetrack, and then they put it into this bad boy right here, 324 horsepower. Awesome, right? Track performance. Then we're gonna take out the off-road version. This is called the Woodland right here. They've given us the keys, and we're gonna take this one out as well. You're gonna notice really fast before we head out, all three have different front grills on them. It's in our longer form video, but today, the whole concept, the whole thing is gonna be about getting behind the wheel and letting you guys choose which one you want. Do you want the hybrid? Do you want the performance-based GR, or do you want the Woodland right here? I'd love to tell you we're going in this one first, but we're not. It's all gonna be about the hybrid. We are gonna take the hybrid out for a little bit of a mix. Toyota's given us all the details on the car. They've given us our drive route, and before we do any of that, we are going to pair our phone to the vehicle. So let's get up on here. Let's add a device. In the Bluetooth, we're gonna wait for this thing to pop up. It's on my phone. Pair it here, allow for Apple CarPlay, confirm up on the screen. And voila, our first stop on today's drive is going to be what I've been told is a scenic location, which Toyota has given me a QR code, which I will click on here once I get my camera open. All right, QR code. And I think this is important for y'all because it's showing the ease in which this vehicle works. Pairing with CarPlay, now gonna be up on the screen, and we're gonna be ready to take off. Now we've got our directions, we've got everything that we need. We're gonna put it in drive and we're gonna head out. Now, as we get ready to head out, I wanna mention a couple different things. One, as noted at the very beginning, we're gonna test really the three cars, right? We're gonna talk about RAV4 as a hybrid, RAV4 general, and then the GR, which I'm really excited about, the Gazoo Racing version of a RAV4, which I still think is crazy. A couple different notes, and I encourage you to watch the long form video that we did on this, on Chasing Horsepower, because it kind of lays these things out from a non-driving standpoint. So if we think about the hybrid, we think about Toyota as a whole. They are known for being, you know, they are a great hybrid manufacturer. The RAV4 is in its 5th generation. You're looking at 236 horsepower combined with the hybrid version of this vehicle. You know, there's lots of notes here, whether it's the 163 pounds-feet of torque or the 3,500 pounds-feet of towing. Most importantly, what I want to do is put this down, and I want to tell you guys what I think about the driving experience. So as we come out of the Weekopa Casino, the first thing I want to do is I want to give it a little bit of hammer time, right? I want to find out, all right, hybrid combined with a little bit of electric. Pretty peppy, right? Right off the get-go. Overall, as we kind of start the process of evaluating the driving characteristics of this, I want to note I'm in normal drive mode, nothing special. The seat, steering wheel are really appointed, you know, just for my 6'3" frame. The first location we're going is going to be, from what I understand, a bit picturesque, so I'm excited about that. We're going to check it out. All three of the vehicles are going to have roughly the same feeling because they're built on the same platform and the same chassis. So we're going to get a green light here, and we're going to take off, and we're going to see how this thing feels. I'm going to go ahead and turn on lane departure warning. We're going to avoid cruise control for now. Let's now, on an open highway, give this thing a little bit of pep. You just can't go wrong with hybrid. Like, when you use any form of electrification with a vehicle, it's going to give you a much more comfortable driving experience, a little bit more pep off the line. So I think from a testing standpoint, it's going to be very interesting to see the difference between the RAV4 Gazoo Racing versus the hybrid, right? Hybrid being electric, Gazoo Racing being the quote high performance version of the RAV4. As we're driving down the highway and I'm starting to get a feel for this, suspension feels pretty comfortable. I was telling one of the people at Toyota last night, the Toyota 4Runner TRD Offroad, it just felt a little bit rough with suspension, obviously because it's built for the off-road. But as we think about this one right here, I mean, I'd say comfortable. Size on the inside feels good. Like, I don't feel like I'm too close to the passenger that's next to me. Steering wheel is good. I like the thickness of the steering wheel. It's not too big, not too small, quite comfortable. Sitting at 79 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. It just feels very relaxed. One question we always get is road noise. I hear a little bit of the buffeting, if you will, like the wind, the air hitting off, you know, the side of the vehicle up in this A-pillar. I can hear that a little bit. Let's put a window down and see. It's what you would expect. It's a window down. I'm just kind of listening to see if I could hear any additional noises. No, relatively clean. Now that we've got the window closed, it's going to allow me to kind of hear a little bit more. Yeah, you hear the general sound outside. Let's go ahead and put on cruise control, see how that feels. Cruise control on. Just set my speed, and away we go. Cruise control is now on. This does have mild autonomous driving. I use the word mild. Companies use level 1, 2, and 3. Hands are off the wheel right now. Car is driving itself. Let's see how long it takes for the car to tell me to put my hands back on the wheel. Okay, so it just said take control of the steering wheel. Goes right back off. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000, 12, 1,000. 12 seconds is your number. Sorry, I had to read it out. So 12 seconds is the time that it takes for the vehicle to alert you to re-engage with it. So let's say you're heading down the freeway. You got a long drive ahead of you. You keep one hand on that wheel so the car knows. And you're truly set in a mild form of autonomous driving. I gotta admit, first stab at it, pretty freaking cool. I think it's actually pretty good. If I just leave my hand here, hey, that's pretty awesome. Car's driving. I mean, I can sit over here and talk to Tanner. I want to pay attention, but still, it's feet aren't on the gas, not on the brake. I mean, it's pretty cool. Here, I'll take the camera, show y'all. I mean, look at that down there. I mean, you know what? Hats off to Toyota. I think they've done a pretty good job on this next version of autonomous driving. What do you think, Tanner?
I think it's cool.
It's pretty sweet, huh? Like, hey, if you're watching this and you want to consider an affordable hybrid, Toyota. I always think back to Akio Toyota, right? A few years ago, when talking about electric vehicles, he said, for every one electric vehicle I build, I can build 50 hybrids. I'm pretty freaking impressed with this. I think it's pretty awesome. Let me point out a couple things, although you'll see them in the longer video. It's worth it while I'm inside. Take my glasses off so I can see a little bit better. Cars stopping in front of me. Look at this. I'm doing nothing. I'm literally doing nothing. Old Ford going up the road. Old boy making it up the hill. Dude, that's freaking it. It's great. Their autonomous feature is fantastic. Let's highlight some of the things on the inside. Massive new touchscreen, infotainment screen. Talk about a multimedia experience. You now have that with this Toyota RAV4. I think they've done a phenomenal job with the size of the screen, keeping it out of the sun. It's easy to touch, so I don't have to lean super forward. They've made it really easy for your 4 distinctive drive modes, right? You got drive mode over here, normal, eco, sport, and custom. You have your EV mode right here. It's unavailable because it needs to gather a little bit more electrification before I can go into EV mode. You got trail and snow, and you got normal over here. Nice little cuddy area up here for you to stow some stuff away. Wireless induction. You know, you get your rain, you know, energy drink in there. I don't drink those. It'll blow my heart up. And then, you know, just overall well appointed on the inside. I really dig it. I like getting in these vehicles without having experience and then telling you all, because this thing's freaking dialed. Look at the size of the massive moonroof in here. Let's open it up. One touch, One Touch takes it all the way to the back. It doesn't stop in the middle. A lot of automakers are gonna stop in the middle. They're taking it all the way back. Dude, that's massive. All the way back to the second row passenger above their head. That's really dynamic. I dig it. If you know anything about Toyota, so it's like you gotta hold it a little bit longer. It's not a one push, you gotta hold it for a few seconds. JBL speakers on the inside, giving you that great sound. What do we got over here? Okay, just checking. Yeah, great sound on the inside with the JBL speakers. Overall, I really like the hybrid. I think it drives really well. I think it looks great on the inside. My seats are super comfortable. I'm even passing an old school Raptor. Getting off the freeway now, we have one last test that we want to do before we head up to this cool little spot where we're going to talk about the exterior, some of the things that I like about the RAV4. So we're going to call it more of a hard stop. So just getting off the freeway, turn signal on. I'm going to hold out here for a second on braking. I'm at 80 miles an hour right now, 79. And now we're going to come to more of a stop. I want to just see them. Here we go. Boom. I mean, dude. Smooth, easy, not throwing you back in your seat, not uncomfortable. Like, I think the key is this. It's Toyota. Toyota just makes a great freaking automobile. And the RAV4 in its fifth version, 5th gen, is just a great ride. And the way they have designed this, the technology that they've taken from racing, from years and years and years of great experience, overall, it's a really, really well-equipped car. Now, the question that's going to come up that Tanner loves to ask is, would I own a RAV4? It's kind of a two-prong, three-prong, four-prong question. At this stage in my life, I would own a Sequoia, a Tundra. I really wouldn't own one of these. It's not really my jam for where I'm at in life. But it's an amazing vehicle and makes 100% sense for a young professional, a young family, maybe seniors that are retired, right? Some retired folks that want a great car with great fuel economy that is easy to drive, tons of safety features, right? Toyota Safety Sense, standard across the board in all of their vehicles. So when you take all of that into consideration, this is just an overwhelmingly great buy, great vehicle for a great buy. I mean, talk about absolutely stunning. Of course, I knew there were and our lakes in Arizona, but man, I gotta tell you, amazing. So I feel like I need to be quiet as I talk because I'm in this picturesque environment. But all right, so that's round one for test driving of the all-new Toyota RAV4. And I think, let's just start with this, right? Driving impression one, coming up the freeway from the resort. Smooth braking, great acceleration, handling feels nice and crisp. And overall, in fact, we were just talking with some folks here in the parking lot, like they love the look. And I think that's going to be one of the driving force factors for selling this new vehicle, is the fact that it looks so great. So again, I'll push it to the other video for a little bit more of an in-depth review of the RAV4, but let me break it down for you. So come around up here to the front. So you got an all-new front grille on this, and the hybrid is going to have a very specific front grille. So you're going to see this grille is different than the Woodland and the GR that we'll show you here in a bit. So different front grille. When you see this, you immediately know that this is going to be the hybrid version. Here we've got, you know, your front camera. It's going to be used for a multitude of different things. And then you've got a little black trim piece down below, kind of gives it a great look. You got LED lights that wrap the front quarter panel of this into the front of the grille. Fog lights down here below. And again, I just overall love the look. You got a great hood design on here. And frankly, I love white cars. This whiteness looks fantastic. As we make our way around, 22-inch multi-spoke wheels running on some Toyota tires. So you got a great tire married with a great vehicle. I love the gloss black on there, right? And I think it's also pretty cool. You know, you've got this black trim that kind of matches the wheel, and then you got the black gloss up here as well. from a sportiness standpoint, they've pulled out all the stops. Then you got the matching mirror, and then you got the black floating roof line. I think it's very, very sporty. And that exterior design is paramount. You got some cool engineering, design features in here as well that just give it a good sculpted look. The monochromatic handles are fantastic, right? The white marries up great against the vehicle, which I think is fantastic. You make your way down. Before I go, before I come around to the back, a sizable second row window here, lots of visibility as well into that C-pillar, and then you make your way around. The theme carries on. You got a spoiler up here. A lot of automakers integrate I just call it a mild spoiler or trim piece on the back, just to give the car a little bit more of a rounded out look. LED lights that span the brake lights across into the rear deck lid. The RAV4 logo here, very modern and sophisticated with a blacked out Toyota logo. And then you got the HEV, hybrid electric vehicle. It denotes that it's all-wheel drive. And then this is the XSE version. So you got a good feeling of a bit of luxury in here as well, even though we got some gear in the back. So one-touch electric liftgate, so boom, pops right up. You can see some of our gear in there. Plenty enough room to load in any of your luggage. You want to go on a long trip. Love the way that they've done it. And then just kind of a fun Easter egg, Toyota RAV4. So overall, they've done just a fantastic job with the vehicle. And I think just looking at it, congrats to them. I think they nailed it with the hybrid version. Before we jump back in the car to head back and test drive the next of our vehicles, I wanted to pull out the information they gave us. So obviously they haven't announced pricing yet. I'm hoping by the time this vehicle comes live, we can have an update on pricing. But listen to this, wild. 44 miles, 38 miles, and 41 miles. So 44 in the city, 38 on the highway, 41 combined. That's amazing. You want to get a vehicle with great MPG, it's going to be this right here. All right, so we just took care of the hybrid. Just look, get in close. No, get in close, you guys to see. GR, and that's gonna be this right here. So we're gonna take this out, we're gonna do some twisty turnies in it, and here's the scoop, man. Like, it's a RAV4, and they decided to GR this thing up. So taking all that DNA from the racetrack and now dumping it into this car, we're gonna find out if that 320 horsepower, right, up from the 236 in the hybrid, is it going to be worth it? Well, if you follow my other video on the Toyota Corolla Cross GR version out on the track, dude, the GR Corolla is legit. So, all right, let's get inside. Enough of me getting all fired up about it. Let's get in and let's find out if this is going to be a lot of fun, if it's going to be a GR, and if it's really going to be worthy of wearing the coveted GR badge. Let's go. All right, so as I noted as we got in the car, you're jumping up to 324 horsepower. And that's a pretty big jump, right, from what you have in the hybrid version, although you do have that electrified, off-the-line feel with the hybrid version. And frankly, I really enjoyed that car. So I love the GR badge on all of the Toyota vehicles. The one that it does the least for me, I'm so sorry, Toyota, is actually on the Supra. I just am so blown away by the GR Corolla. I was telling a person at Toyota, they're like, would you actually buy that car? And I'm like, heck yeah, I would buy that car. I'd buy that car and park it in my garage, cruise it on the weekends, and be like, I got my cool kid car again. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come out of here, we're gonna go left. And the only way to really test this car is that kind of off the line feel. So we're gonna get up here, kind of make our way away from the crowd, and I'm gonna hammer down. We're gonna find out really, really fast what this car is capable of. Gonna wait for some of these cars to move, and then we're gonna come to a stop, and we're gonna hammer it. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. It gets up after it. It's very GR-ish. I do feel like the hybrid has a little bit more punch off the line, and we'll play around with it a little bit more. When we get up here and we do a little bit more driving, we're gonna get a chance to kind of experience you know, more of how the driving characteristics are of the GR Corolla. Like the previous versions, they've given us some details, and I just wanted to see, because you got those McPherson struts, McPherson strut and shock on the other versions. What do we got on here? Rear suspension cross member, reinforcement, lower arm cover, so creating more stability. Front performance damper, yeah, so all in. Front lip and rear wing spoiler. We'll show those, talk about those when we get outside and do our walk around. Yeah, so it's still a McPherson type strut up front, trailing wishbone style, multi-link rear. So you're not gonna experience a ton of difference in the handling, with the exception of those things that I mentioned: the dampener, the spoiler. They're gonna give you a look and the feel. But the horsepower is the number one thing, right? Being able to push that horsepower number up is part of what's going to make this feel more performance oriented. Inside, just like the previous version, you got the GR logo all throughout the interior. Here on the steering wheel, you got the double stitching on the steering wheel. Your seats have that red coping as well. So again, just denoting GR. You saw it on the key fob, you got it on the exterior, you got, you know, a little bit more of an aggressive look with this vehicle. Obviously, I love the red as well. GR is up on your center instrument cluster, again, just reinforcing the brand image of it. And as we get up here a little bit further, we're going to do some more twists and turns just to feel the performance of the vehicle as it hits some of these corners. So Toyota picked out a perfect little backcountry road that just happens to have a good little elevation change, right? It's going up high, it's dropping down low. They've also got like a great series of turns in here, so you can kind of experience everything that the GR Corolla has without putting it out on a racetrack, because frankly, it's not meant for the racetrack. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is that the steering wheel mapping is different in this car. I can tell and feel the difference. It has more of a performance feel to it. Here's a great turn right here. When I hit this turn, boom, we hit this turn, just kind of feel the car. You can tell there's a difference. And I think part of it is the fact that they've lowered the vehicle, so you've got a little bit lower ride height with the GR Corolla, and that alone is just going to bring that center of gravity closer to the street, the pavement, and that is going to give you more of that performance feel you're looking for. But overall, and we'll get out and we'll highlight some of these things, but you can feel the difference in horsepower. It feels more muscular, and that's a good thing, because if you're going to spend the money on a GR, you're going to want to make sure that you have that horsepower. All right, so you're not going to take the GR off-road. Obviously, we are not putting it on a track today. You could, but I want to point out all the features of what make this GR RAV4 really kind of special. So you'll notice the grille is different on all of the trim levels of the RAV4. So more aggressive, right? You got the blacked out logo. Again, going with kind of this performance-oriented theme. Red meets up with black, the piano key LED lights. You got the fog lights, but you also have a front diffuser that gives it a little bit of a performance-oriented stance. You're still going to be rolling on 22s. The difference is you've got Dunlop tires, and these Dunlop tires, make a pretty big improvement from the standpoint of performance on the road, or possibly even on the track. But this is where the music is made. So the one thing I purposely didn't mention on the first part of the drive is that this is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So you can go all electric with this vehicle if you want. You can actually get a power boost of electrification, EV Go, like this thing will take off. And that's how you're able to achieve that 324 horsepower and get a little bit more performance out of it, especially off the line. As you make your way down the side, still general look and feel, but this is kind of the big telltale right here. You got a rear spoiler on here, and this rear spoiler gives it that performance-oriented stance, and I really dig that. You got the GR logo, the Sport logo on the rear, and again, it says PHEV all-wheel drive, which is that plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, but I want to do this. I want to slide back just a hair. This has been dropped about 15 millimeters to give it more of a performance-oriented stance. So when you look at the new design of this, you can put it up against the two other RAV4s, and you're going to notice that they're a little bit higher. This one is down lower. And that lower center of gravity is something that's going to give you more of a performance-oriented feel and stance. We pulled up to a stop sign here just outside of Scottsdale, and I saw a young family pushing a stroller. They stopped and looked at this the entire time we were there. And I think what the family was looking at is, one, it's a small SUV, two, it's sporty. They probably don't know what GR represents for Toyota, but overall, I could tell just in their eyes, because I get to be around consumers all the time, that they overall looked at this and went, man, I could see myself in one of those. And as we went by, they smiled. And I wanted to point this out because Toyota has been gracious enough to give us kind of a rundown of the vehicle. What's really interesting about this one right here is under exterior. So with the hybrid version, the exterior was like all these bullets, but under the GR, it's all about the mechanical nature. So I want to read this so you kind of get the picture. So 6th generation Toyota plug-in hybrid system with a 2.5 liter gas engine. It does have the eCVT transmission. It's okay. But it does have an electric onboard all-wheel drive system, and that's pretty cool. I mentioned the 324 combined horsepower with a 772 pounds-feet of torque. It's running lithium-ion batteries. To somebody that cares about electric vehicles, that's something unique. Not unique, it's just what the makeup is of the battery system. All of the vehicles are running the McPherson-type struts up front, so you're not going to feel a ton of difference, but where you will feel the difference is the power steering, as I mentioned, the 15 millimeter lowering ride height, the dedicated damper tuning and coil springs. That's really important. That's going to give you more of that tight feel. You got the front performance damper, the front lip and rear wing spoiler. So I mentioned that a minute ago on the back. And then static elimination material on front driver's seat aluminum tape in headliner. So they've made the right adjustments and added the right things to make the GR Corolla a lot of fun to drive, and I think that's really important for a consumer that wants a sporty SUV. Is it off the line, like blistering fast? No. But do you really need to be the first one to the red light? No. Overall, I think they've done a fantastic job with this, and they haven't announced pricing. And that's okay, right? Like, they're going to come out with the pricing. Hopefully by the time this video gets to go live, they will have announced pricing. But overall, I really like the GR. So before I hop out of this, we've still got one more vehicle to test. That's the Woodland Edition. But if I had to choose right now between the hybrid version and this one, which is the GR Sport, which one am I going to take? This is going to come to a shock to many people. But as of right now, I would take the hybrid. All right, let's go test the Woodland and see if that's going to change my decision. All right, so the last of our three vehicles, as noted, is the Woodland. We're going to be talking about and doing a little bit of off-roading. And the whole goal with this is between the three cars, right? The hybrid, the GR, and the Woodland. Which one would I choose if I was a consumer in the market? So we did a breakdown of the interior and the driving characteristics of the hybrid. Then we did it with the GR. And now with this Woodland Edition right here, we're going to go do a little bit of off-roading. But before I get to that, I'm going to give you my initial feedback of the three vehicles thus far leading into this. And at the very end, we'll break it down for you and tell you which one we really think is the best of the three vehicles. The very first thing is that this feels like an off-road vehicle on the inside. And to be perfectly honest, the interiors are almost identical between the three vehicles. The GR has a sportier feel on the inside. It's got the GR logo. The hybrid has a little bit more of a sophisticated, higher-end contemporary feel. And this has more of a wooded feel. What do I mean? A lot more plastic on the inside, a lot more things that can get wet and dirty and, things you can take off-road. I look at the seats. You can tell these seats are going to be easily wipeable. You can wipe them down. You've got, orange piping, which makes me feel like I'm off-roading. You got that same orange piping here on the steering wheel. You've got that same orange piping here on the center console. And just the materials are different. I like them. I actually really like the way this feels on the inside. And I think it's because I know it's a RAV4. I know it's a smaller SUV. And when I think about, brand new vehicle in the SUV category, because I'm an off-roader, it's going to be a vehicle that I favor. So I'm not sharing my cards just yet, showing you my cards just yet, but so far I'm really impressed with the look and feel on the inside of this. It's just more of an industrial off-roadish kind of feel. And comparing, you know, if we think about it, comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges, I want to do a little bit of a brake test up here. It's all the same tech, but just to feel, you know, do the tires feel a little bit differently? And then I want to talk a little bit about road noise with this. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ooh. So you can kind of feel the weight a little bit more with this plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. It feels a little heavier on that stop. I think the hybrid felt really good on the stop. All right, so I want to talk about something, see if you guys can pick it up a little bit in my mic. Engine noise and tire noise. It's got all-terrain tires, and those all-terrain tires are gonna, you know, obviously allow more air in when it's hitting the pavement, and it's gonna make for, you know, louder road noise. I always tell everyone, if you're in the market for an off-road vehicle, just remember, you're not gonna have a quiet vehicle, quiet sounding cabin. It's not an Escalade or a Lincoln Navigator. It's meant for off-roading, and those tires, to create the grip, need to have space. The space is gonna require air, and that air is gonna make noise. So something else to think about. One thing I wanna note about all three vehicles as we're kind of test driving here is that the power band, which is really important if you're interested in this vehicle, the power band is really going to be between, and let's see if we got it right now, we're going to be probably between a third, and it's CVT, so I'm saying gear, but you know, the sweet spot is going to be that 50 to 70 miles per hour, where, you know, boom, I pick it up at 60, this thing takes off. Like it's got a good powerful feel to it. Ooh, we might be able to get our first pass home. Welcome to the off-road version of the RAV4. All right, so here's what's really cool, and we've got a nice little course that's been put together for us. Again, this is not meant to be the ultimate off-road vehicle, but it is meant to be a great option if you do want to get off on some fire trails, even some mild, you know, uphills. We've got an area in here. We're gonna kind of run you guys through this really fast. But here's what's unique. Before I kind of start to show you guys, I want to talk about the suspension, because if you're in the market for a RAV4, the first thing you're going to think of when you hear the Woodland edition is that, oh, guess what? I'm getting some kind of suspension upgrade, right? Well, nope, still running the McPherson. The same setup is in the other two vehicles, the GR and with the hybrid. So what's unique about this, though, is that when you go to the all-terrain tire, that's giving you a little bit more ground clearance, which is kind of unique. Now, we'll get up here, we'll get out, we'll talk about the exterior styling like we did in the previous video, but we'll make it more relevant based on the fact that we are legitimately off-road now. So over here, I'm going to hit the trail mode. In the trail mode, I might have already been in it. All right, so trail mode, to come up on the screen here, I've got my instructor with me, and that's going to show me the various articulation when we're going off-road. Tell me about trail mode. It's just torque vectoring?
It's torque vectoring. It's going to help you, help the vehicle know where it needs the power. You'll see up here, you have all your different gauges, and you can see it'll flash yellow on the corner that is showing where the power is being sent.
So for English, for those at home watching the video, what does torque vectoring mean? Well, in its most simplistic term, or terminology, it means that the computer on the car is going to detect where the slippage is on a tire, and it's going to redirect it away from the slippage to the tires that are actually on the ground, meaning they're in contact with the ground. I think it was Mazda that came out with torque vectoring in their Tribute years ago, and I had a chance to experience it. The technology is fantastic. Think about that. The usable torque with the vehicle is going to be applied to the tires that are having the contact patch on the ground to give you more ability to get through an obstacle. All right, next, speed. Do I get to go fast?
You could go 25, 30.
Let's go! Just kidding. I don't want to throw anybody off.
No, it's perfect.
Okay.
There's a little bit of that traffic. So if you want to back up, maybe they can make it over there. I think we'll just hug tight to this side.
Get us with a high five. High five! High five! Let's go! Welcome to the off-road adventure, right? So we got a cactus behind us, and we have rattlesnakes. At least that's what we've been told by the property manager. All right, so let's just do a quick walk around. We've done it before. We showcased this when we were at Toyota HQ. And I want to start with the way I've started the last two with regards to the GR and then of course the hybrid version. So you got a different front grille, right? You look at the hybrid one, it's a little bit more, elegant. It's a little bit more sophisticated. Then you go to the GR, it's got that performance oriented look, and it's also got the blacked out Toyota logo, which this one holds true to the original Toyota logo. I actually really like the front end of this. As an off-roader, and someone that also likes high-end cars, I love the fact that this has kind of an aggressive front to it, but it's also very simple. Like, you don't have the same lighting system that comes down. So this is a much different front end. Same piano LED lights, and then you come down the side. I just want to stare at this for a second. When you look at it, it doesn't have any more ground clearance from the actual frame and suspension. It's all contained in the all-terrain tires. So you just have more tire wall, more sidewall. I like these Dunlops on here. I think they look good. Most importantly, I think this Everest green is what really makes this stand out. Again, it's a hybrid, plug-in hybrid electric as well. So you're going to be able to charge it and use EV tech. And then just to add a little bit more bonus up on top, you've got this roof rack, right? So you think about kayaks, you think about camping, you think about off-roading, they give all that to you. Now you go with the hybrid version that we showed you earlier. It's all white, it's monochromatic. They're highlighting the door handles with black, and I think that gives it a little bit more of an accent. Just coming around to the rear really fast, the one thing I want to point out is the fact this one, again, we think about off-roading, we're not thinking about going, going to valet, your hybrid version. You've got your tow hitch on the back. That's going to have about 3,500 pounds of towing capacity. And again, it has more of an off-road themed rear look to it. I'll close it out with this and we'll continue down trail. The Everest green, this color is just stunning to me. I see some hints of blue in it, but of all of the colors that they have as a brand, this is probably my favorite. I think they've done a good job with this. So let's continue on down course and see what the rest has in store for us. So the one question you're gonna have is about the suspension. Given that all three vehicles have the same suspension, I'm actually quite surprised. It's pretty comfortable. Like, I'm actually surprised how smooth the suspension is. And again, it's a testament to Toyota as a brand, right? They've taken all of the technology over the years and they've engineered products that just make sense. And the suspension, you don't need to change it. Why put Fox shocks on it? You don't need to. It drives just great out here. Surprisingly well. Okay, so our first uphill, we're just gonna play around with this a little bit. I'm kind of purposely trying to hit some of the grooves that are gonna allow us to really see how it grabs a little bit more. We've got a camera mounted up on front. I mean, it's all-wheel drive, so you're not going to have any issues climbing with the RAV4. Again, the thing that I do is I listen to the response of the vehicle. Engine sounds fine. Tires are grabbing. I'm not detecting any slippage. Question for you, torque vectoring still in play because we're in trail mode.
Absolutely.
So the torque vectoring will stay in play the entire time you're in trail mode. It should stay in play even when you're not in trail mode.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's a all of the time feature. With Toyota and on the RAV4.
In trail mode, it'll send more to the rear as needed.
Okay, so rear bias. Reality is you've got all-wheel drive and you're in trail mode and you got the torque vectoring. I don't need to use the downhill descent, but I can. So hill descent, they've got a button here. It'll show me on the screen the articulated vehicle. And hill descent is really meant for you to crawl down the hill. If you have a really steep downhill, that's when you're going to have to use it. And that's what we're testing out right now, is just to see how it works. I'm actually going to take it off. I like to be a little bit in more control of my vehicle. So now we're headed downhill and the all-wheel drive is going to do what it needs to do. You're not going to detect any brakes. The brakes aren't going to engage. Honestly, it's in full control. Sometimes we over-tech a product. We're not over-teching this. This thing's just nice and clean and smooth. It really is. I mean, you could put a 2-inch lift on this and go do stuff. Dude! The 2026 Toyota RAV4. Hybrid. GR, so performance. Woodland off-road. You can have your cake and eat it too. Every possible option with an affordable car in the market. Now, I wanted to do this because I was thinking about it earlier, and I was just going to ask Suri. Hey, Suri, what is the cost of an entry-level 2025 Toyota RAV4?
Here's an answer from usnews.com.
$28,850. And I'm sharing that with you because Toyota will not give us the pricing on this yet. Actually, it's for all the journalists. So we haven't been given pricing. We got to do the original walkthrough in Dallas at their headquarters. Then we got to do the driving here, and then they're going to give us, you know, the pricing down the road. But look, stack it up against what the current pricing is. From 2025 to 2026, you're looking at $28,850 as a starting price on a Toyota RAV4. Again, I need a premise. That is the previous version. That is the current version of the car in the market. This is a 2026 model year. So I'm breaking them down, right? I had a chance to drive all three cars, and all three cars have a much different feel, a much different look, and a much different vibe for the most part. Different front grille, different trim levels, different wheels and tires, different roof rack based on the model that you want. So if you are a Toyota fan and enthusiast and a consumer in the market that wants a vehicle that comes with all the safety equipment, everything that you want, standard Toyota Safety Sense, right? Front crash avoidance, rear pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, even autonomous hands-free driving. This thing's got it. Everything. It has an entirely new multimedia system on the inside. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the cool kid toys, right? All the cool kid tech features. If you want a car for the, we'll call it the kids track, you got the GR RAV4, because you're not going to take it out on a real track. You want it because it's sporty looking. Then you got the hybrid version, gets great, you know, fuel economy, and it looks contemporary and elegant. You got a platinum version with that same platform. It's great. Then you got this one right here, which I would say right now, Subaru, you better watch out, because the Woodland edition of the RAV4 is sporty, it's masculine, it's feminine, it's everything. It's got cool wheels and tires and roof rack. It's really the full entire, like, it's the real deal. And I can't help but kind of fall in love with it. In fact, the grasshopper down here, he's fallen in love with it too. So you guys get to choose, but I'm going to tell you what my pick is right now. If I had to pick one of these today, and they said, Mike, you're going to drive one of the RAV4s, which one is it going to be? Earlier, I said it's probably going to be the GR, right? I want sporty, I want performance. It's not. And then I said it might be the hybrid. It's not. It's 100% this. I think this Everest green with, you know, the slight adjustment with the all-terrain tire and the capabilities that it has, and the fact that it's also a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, and it's got the roof rack on top. I think it's the full deal. It's a real deal, man. I love this car. I think Toyota's going to do a great job with it. And I hope they do as great a job with it as I've done with giving you guys this video. All right, man, I hope you all enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed putting it together. I'm Mike Caudill. This is Chasing Horsepower, and that car right there is the 2026 Toyota RAV4 Woodland Edition. If you're not following along, smash that subscribe button below. And if you're not following on our other social channels, you know, baby, Chasing Horsepower. You just got to go find them. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. We're everywhere, baby. All right, there it is. What do you guys think? Drop your comments below.